What's up, guys? D-Rock1992 here. For this next video and for my next Marvel Cinematic Universe review, I'm going to be reviewing a film that no one really expected to be that big of a success. It came out in 2014, the same year as Captain America: Winter Soldier. And you know my review for Winter Soldier. I love that movie. This one is Guardians of the Galaxy, which came out later in 2014. In fact, it came out August 1st in the US. As far as cast members go, there's a lot of them. There are 5 Guardians of the Galaxy. Peter Quill, who is played by Chris Pratt, who is becoming one of the biggest stars in Hollywood right now. Gamora is played by Zoe Saldana. Drax the Destroyer is played by Dave Bautista. Groot is voiced by Vin Diesel. And Rocket the Raccoon is voiced by Bradley Cooper. And those are your 5 Guardians of the Galaxy. Other characters in this film, a couple big villains. Lee Pace plays Ronan the Accuser. Michael Rooker plays Yondu Udnada. Karen Gillan plays Nebula. Glenn Close is in this film in a small role. John C. Reilly is in this film in a small role. Benicio del Toro in this film as well. So a lot of people, definitely a lot of cast members in this film. But the 5 primary ones, as I mentioned, are the Guardians of the Galaxy. So, what this film is about. All 5 of these guys are bad guys. They start out as bad guys, thieves, bounty hunters, you name it, things like that. Bad things. The story centers around Peter Quill and his quest to get an orb. This orb, which he has no idea of what it does. So he steals the orb. He runs into problems with the rest of the Guardians before they become the Guardians. And chaos ensues, and the 4 of them, actually Gamora, Peter Quill, or Star-Lord is his other name, Rocket the Raccoon, and Groot, they're all sent to prison. I believe, Xandar is the planet that they're imprisoned at. With help from another Guardian, who becomes a Guardian later on, Drax the Destroyer, they escape from prison, and they try to sell off the orb to the highest bidder, to a contact of Gamora's. However, they discover that the orb has much more potential, much more value than they anticipated. And then you have the bad guys basically trying to steal it. A man named Ronan, a villain named Ronan, Ronan the Accuser, and he's underneath a guy named Thanos, who's only in a little bit of the film. He's briefly in the film. But he's under Thanos. And Ronan the Accuser, he basically wants that orb to eradicate all the enemies, to destroy the Xandarians and their planet. I know it kind of gets complicated, and at first, I had a little difficulty getting through what it was all about, but once I did, I understood it a little more and all that. So, excuse me. So, basically, that orb holds great value because it's basically a powerful orb that sends off unbelievable amounts of energy, I guess, something like that. And it has the potential to destroy people, destroy destroy certain things. Its power cannot be contained unless, it can be contained the right way, something like that. But anyway, so the Guardians, they have to try to get this orb back to the planet of what is that planet's name again? Xandar. Xandar is the planet that they want to bring the orb to, but they have to defeat Ronan the Accuser and his assistants, his men, his forces. And they have to do this and bring that orb back to Xandar and protect the orb's power. And protect it from being exposed and really carried out. The power carried out and all that sort of thing by Ronan the Accuser and those enemies. So I think I described the plot in some words, If I'm missing something in the plot, please let me know in the comments below. I'm just thinking about the stuff I know about, and I'm actually looking at the plot right now and going through it and seeing kind of what's about. Because at first, this film is one that I was kind of confused about. I had a little difficulty understanding it. But eventually, I was able to get it for the most part and follow the story. So, the characterization. The two best people in the Guardians, of the 5 people who I named as, who were the Guardians of the Galaxy, the two best people were Chris Pratt and Bradley Cooper. They provided a lot of the humor. That's for sure. They provided a lot of the humor, the majority of it. And they knocked it out of the park. Chris Pratt and Bradley Cooper voicing the raccoon. As I mentioned, those two knock it out of the park. They are really funny as well as serious, Everybody else did pretty good. Dave Bautista did a pretty good job. Zoe Saldana, good job. And Vin Diesel did a good job, even though he only spoke 4 words during the entire movie. He was like, I am Groot. Then he says at the end, we are Groot. So actually 5 words. But 5 certain words, and but his performance was good. That's Vin Diesel not really speaking. He voiced Groot, who's this big tree who can this big talking tree basically is what it is. A tree-like humanoid, it says here. So yeah, I think Pratt and Cooper were the stars of, the film, period. The villain was good, Lee Pace. Michael Rooker as a bandit who basically takes Peter Quill. I'm sorry, my cat. Michael Rooker plays this Yondu, who's a bandit who captures Peter Quill from Earth, takes him from Earth, and raises him as his own, basically. Teaches him to be a bandit and things like that, because the movie starts out where Peter Quill is an Earthling, and eventually his mother dies of cancer, I believe it is. And he goes outside to mourn, to cry, and he gets taken by those aliens, bandits, whatever you want to call them, and he is raised to be a bandit, basically. And, essentially, that's what the beginning of the film's about. Now I get to Karen Gillan, who I've only had a little bit of experience with. Apparently, and I researched this, she was on Doctor Who for all of you Doctor Who fans out there, you may know her very well as one of the Doctor Who girls. She was on there, I think, for 4 seasons or something like that. But yeah, she was on Doctor Who, the program Doctor Who. The only place I really know where she was on this TV show on ABC called Selfie, which was a good show, but ultimately it was canceled. It only lasted 1 season, and it just didn't do very well ratings-wise. So the character she plays in this movie and the character she played on that TV show, radically different. I didn't think Karen Gillan is what I think it's how it's pronounced. I didn't think she could play this type of role, just based on my experience with her in that show, Selfie. I didn't think she could play it, but she does a good job in the film. She really does. John C. Reilly does a pretty good job in a limited role. Glenn Close does a good job in a limited role. Benicio del Toro does a pretty good job in a limited role. So, there are a lot of characters in this film. A lot of different people. But the movie in general, it's awesome. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy blew me away. It's just a very good film. It's funny. It's one of the funniest Marvel films that Marvel has ever done. It's one of the funniest. It's just the chemistry between all of the Guardians is so good. All 5 of those Guardians. It's just they're funny. And one thing that's pretty special about this movie is that a lot of 70s pop hits are playing on the soundtrack. The soundtrack's a lot of 70s pop hits. Somehow, that fits extremely well with this movie and what this movie is about. So, definitely, it fit with the soundtrack, with the 70s pop hits. It fit with this soundtrack. Or with the movie Guardians of the Galaxy. It really did. As I said, a lot of people in this movie, the stars of it, in my opinion, the big players are Bradley Cooper and Chris Pratt. I think they're the 2 stars. They steal the show in this film. And as well as being funny, this film's also pretty serious, like a Marvel movie should be. It expertly blends the humor and the drama very well in this film. Expertly blends the drama, expertly blends the comedy and the action all together to make one perfect movie, really. And you know what I'm going to give it? I'm going to give it another 5 out of 5 stars. It's just Marvel knows how to do things right. And as I said before, nobody really expected this movie to do a whole lot. I mean, it's a property for Marvel that's not as well known as the Avengers. I mean, the Avengers, Iron Man, Captain America, the Hulk, Thor, all those big characters. But Guardians was a lesser known property. But Marvel did the right thing. Guardians of the Galaxy is the 10th movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Marvel did the smartest thing by putting all of their recognizable properties out first. Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Captain America, Avengers. They put all that out first. Kind of to more of a guarantee for success. And they got a lot of success with these films. You put out an unknown property like Guardians with the success that Marvel's had. And it wouldn't have been much. Of course, this movie exceeded everybody's expectations. I think it's the second highest grossing movie of last year, as a matter of fact. So it definitely is up there. But if it would have been a moderate success, if it would have been, mixed reviews, moderate success, it would have been it wouldn't have hurt Marvel really that much at all. But Marvel's not known for their duds of movies. They just aren't. It's just something that they're not known for. Overall, on Rotten Tomatoes gave this the movie a 91% approval rating. It's one of the highest reviewed Marvel movies in the whole series, in the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe. So it's up there. It's really high up, and for good reason. This movie is just so good. Blends all the genres, blends the comedy, blends the action, blends the drama all well into an intricately perfect movie, really. I have no complaints, really, about this film at all. 5 out of 5 stars for me, as I said. And I recommend it totally. You'll be entertained. You'll be entertained and you'll be blown away, I think, in my opinion. So, that's it for this video on Guardians of the Galaxy. D-Rock 1992 out.